pressure, sending it across the middle, a big collision in the corner. Now sandwiched by Lehman and Clark, and they come after Clark. Pocket throwing the punches at Clark, and Clark retaliated.
Here are two tough guys going, I'll tell you that. And here are two rough customers giving and taking lots of punches each.
Wendel Clark. He gets up over the line, gets right in on goal. He scores! Wendel Clark with a beautiful rock from his own blue line.
Jason Podollan here, back with another Lessons from a Pro, and today we're speaking with Wendel Clark, legendary captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I read that were you drafted to the NHL first overall as a defenseman?
Yes, I was defenseman of the year in the Western Hockey League, probably Canadian Hockey League. Drafted first overall. I got to training camp and they said, "Okay, you're a forward."
Can you like that? I can't believe that. Like, that blows my mind. Can you imagine that happening today?
Yeah, no, I can't see Connor McDavid walking in to say, not that I was ever a Connor McDavid, but no, I think I'll play where I want to play.
Let's dive into just that whole transitioning to forward. Like the learning, like, was there a big learning curve for you? I think it's easier probably to go from defense to forward than forward to defense, I think. But how was that? Like, when did they tell you? How did you find out? What was your
first day of training camp? I walk in and they see, okay, left wing with Courtnall and Lehman. That's how I found out. I read it on the door of the dressing room. And so I didn't really argue, but as long as I stayed in the NHL and didn't go back to junior, I was happy. But the more positions you can learn, the better chance you have of making the junior team, the college team, the pro team. Because the coach says, "Can you play over here?" And you go, "Yeah, I have done that before." But if you've only ever played one position all the way up, you may be, not cutting yourself short because you don't want to play another position. Learn them all, because who knows where you end up when you get older. I ended up in forward and I played defense my whole life.
That's insane. Hey there. If you followed me for any amount of time at all, you know that I like to talk about personality traits or personal traits that can help you as a hockey player and reasons why they can help you. And if you can just change your mental perspective or your mindset around what these things are and what they mean and how you can cultivate it and develop it, you'll be a better athlete. You'll be a better hockey player. You'll make your goals and dreams come true. It's more likely that you will reach your potential. So today, we're using Wendel Clark as an example. Leaf legend Wendel Clark. Some of you younger followers that follow me may not know who this is, and that is insane because we need to remember the history of the game, and Wendel Clark is definitely a historical figure in the game. Former first overall draft pick, former World Junior gold medalist, former, like I said, captain of the Leafs. Wendel Clark is in every single Don Cherry's Rock'em Sock'em. Again, you younger viewers will not even know what that is, but that was a compilation of the biggest hits, the best goals, the nastiest fights. Wendel Clark was on each and every one of these, usually in all three capacities: scoring a goal, knocking somebody senseless with a body check, or getting in one of the great tilts that he was also known for. And we're talking to him today because I think his story is one of the greatest examples of why adaptability can make a huge difference for players. There are many times in your career where you're going to need to adapt. Every time you level up, I shouldn't say every time, but when you start leveling up at the higher and higher levels, it is harder and harder to fill the same role that you filled on the team before, especially as a younger player or especially as a first year. When you're trying to break in somewhere, usually you have to evolve your game in some capacity. And especially getting to the NHL level, very rarely, only the prodigies will walk in and be a first line center or be a first power play guy. You need to work on different aspects of your game that are going to help you get to that spot that you want and earn that role wherever that role is. Now, Wendel Clark here, he has done what? He was a defenseman his entire career up to the point of the World Juniors, where he played 3 games after he made the team as a defenseman and was the WHL Defenseman of the Year, the best defenseman in the Western Hockey League. He played 3 games at forward for the World Junior team. He went first overall that draft. And what does Toronto do? They turn him in to a forward. He didn't even know he was going to be a forward. He didn't know that they wanted him to be a forward. All he found out, as he says, on the first day of training camp when his name was on the board as a winger. Now, think in your own world, where you are right now in your career, wherever that may be. Parents, think about where your player is in whatever capacity he may be. And think about what would happen if somebody changed him or her from forward to defense, or from defense to forward, or from left wing to right wing. Usually there is much resistance with this happening. Yet Wendel Clark was the best 18-year-old in the world at the time. They didn't talk to him about it. They didn't communicate to him. They just said, you're a forward now. And he found a way to get it done. That is absolutely incredible. Now, the game has come a long way when it comes to communication, when it comes to expectation. All these types of things are better communicated now. But Wendel had to roll with the punches. He had to show up, get the job done to earn his spot on that NHL team. And maybe he would have been a better defenseman. Who knows at this point? But he was willing to do what needed to be done to get the job done. Now, when we're talking about at the atom level, we're talking about at the Pee-wee level, the U15 level, these are all still learning stages. These are all still stages where you should want to explore positions, not only because it makes you more attractive to the place that you might end up going. When a coach says, hey, as Wendel says, can you play left wing? Can you play up the middle? Oh, yeah, I've done that. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. Do you want to play D? Yeah, I've done that. I know how to do that. If you can say yes to those questions, that makes you a commodity. That makes you somebody that the coach can depend on in certain different situations. But beyond that, because I know that there's a position that we all like. There's a position that we're drawn to. So I'm not telling you that you want to be a rover for your entire career and just be able to play whatever you want. But the more you play different positions, I'll give you another little insight. The better you are at the position you want to play. If you play D and you understand what is hard for a defenseman, what's hard to do when someone's forechecking you, what's hard to do when you're trying to defend somebody going wide or cutting to the middle or a cross and drop or all these types of elements, you will know how to be a better offensive player more instinctively, more intrinsically than if you've already played the position. So it helps you. For me, I played goalie after I was done playing professional hockey. I ended up buying goal equipment. I was always kind of drawn to the position. And I've said to people since I've done that, man, I wish I would have done that earlier, because I knew so much more now as after playing the position of what's difficult and what's hard, from the way to shoot the puck, from the way to release the puck, how to hide angles. There's so many things you can learn once you've been in those shoes or in these skates in this scenario. So adaptability. It makes it easier for you to move forward. It makes it easier to fill a role, to fill a spot, yet it also makes it easier and better for you at your position of choice. So, not to mention with Wendel Clark here, how about the mental agility that I talk about in week 1 of my Peak Potential project? That this is something that he was able to do. He didn't pack in the tents. He didn't wave the white flag. He didn't resist. He didn't say, I'm not doing that. He found a way to get it done. He found a way to find a solution to the problem, and he ended up becoming an NHL left winger, and a darn good one at that. So lots of lessons in this piece. For sure, adaptability is something that you can think of as a skill. How adaptable am I in different situations? Where do I get resistance from? When I feel resistance, again, in week 1, we talk about emotional states and how we play our best hockey. When we're feeling resistance to something and we're feeling tight and we're feeling stiff like an oak tree instead of like a willow, not very often are we going to go out there and rock and roll with our position. So we got to embrace a few things, and the mental agility that Clarkie showed there was fantastic. So that's it. Adaptability for this week. Lessons from a pro. take it from Wendel Clark. If he can go first overall and get changed by seeing his name on a door of a locker room, change room during an NHL training camp, and he can get it done, I'm sure your son or daughter at the Atom level or the Pee Wee level or the Bantam level is able to make that adjustment, is able to learn from this choice that the coach is giving. And players, take every ounce of that as a learning tool. Learn the position so you can be better at the one you end up wanting to be playing. Cheers.